So I'm gonna watch another video, and this one has Andrew Wilson in it, and Piers Morgan, and I'm gonna be honest, I have no clue who these people are. But yeah, if it has Andrew Wilson in it, I'm watching it because I'm gonna say he's very intelligent. He's a very intelligent guy. Whether or not you agree with everything he has to say, like he knows shit. But let's get into this.
Do you understand that I can take things that are happening socially, point to the worst of them, even if I don't agree with them, to use that as an example of why it's bad, why things bad? These libs talk out of both sides of their mouth. Aren't you just basically admitting that you're a Hollywood prostitute at that point?
Oh god, bro, Andrew Will. Oh my god. Okay, he did not have to go that hard. Holy shit. That was
Well,
bad.
gee, who could have predicted this? Who could have predicted that women who are in positions of power may act overtly emotional just based on, well, even the hormones in their body?
That
Like
is
a
true.
little petulant child.
Yes or no?
You're-
Yes or no?
Bro, why did you, bro? The funny thing about this too is that they made Andrew look so badass in this. This intro completely carried. Bro, that shit was cool.
The latest episode of Call Her Daddy features a lengthy interview with Oscar-winning actress Charlize Theron, entitled I Don't Need a Man. And in it, Miss Theron explains how she reacts to people criticizing her for being a single mum.
I want to just look at them and just be like, do you know how fucking great it is to live exactly how I want to live, to experience motherhood exactly how I wanted to experience it? And I know the next thing they say is like, well, that's not fair on your kids. Can I tell you something? That will be their story to tell. I can't tell you. I can only tell you that this is the best way that I know how to be a mother to them. And maybe they'll grow up and tell their story, and I will respect that.
Okay, so before she starts, obviously single motherhood is a huge problem, and I'm just gonna get into some stuff in it really quickly. Single fathers have a better trajectory than single mothers in pretty much every aspect, whether it's monetary, whether it's education, whether it's better outcomes, or whether it's being in prison less. All statistical outcomes for a single father taking care of a child is better. And then on top of a single father is obviously like a two-person relationship, a man and a woman together. All the outcomes for their children are far better than both of them. But when it comes to single father, usually they're like, I would say 10 to 15% worse on almost everything on average, whereas single mothers are more like 25 to 30% worse on every aspect. And that's how they are compared to a two-parent household. So what we're going to get into is Andrew Wilson and this lady. And let's see.
Well, she also wanted audiences to know how liberating it is for her children not to have a father.
I love that I don't have to run every fucking thing by a guy. I love that I don't have to, well, oh my God, co-parent. I fucking love that I don't have to do any of that stuff. And my children, we joke. Listen, I think you can tell, this is how I raise my kids.
Yeah.
Right? We don't hide this shit.
But don't worry, while Charlize doesn't think husband or father is important in life, she hasn't given up on men altogether.
I found this freedom in my 40s where I'm like, oh my God. So I just want to say this in perspective. I've probably had 3 one-night stands in my entire life.
Okay.
But I did just recently fuck a 26-year-old, and it was really fucking amazing.
Fuck yes.
Yes. And I've never done that. And I was like, oh, this is great. Okay.
Let me just say that 26-year-old is the luckiest fucking man walking on this goddamn planet. He's
Yeah, but anyways, I'll say this. I'm glad for that guy. But how it usually works is this way. Never marry a single mother. Never marry a single mother. She's for sleeping with, usually, especially when she's that old. Because it's not your responsibility to fix her life. Because, to be honest, what she loves is just kind of sleeping around and doing that, so enjoy it if you can. But never marry a single mother, because her problems automatically become your problems. The kid will forever be your problem if you get with her. Her finances, if they're bad, will be forever your problem. And a lot of the expectations that she would have had on the original father get unfairly put on you, even when it's unfair. But like there are occasions where, let's say if the father died, that's one thing, and that's a tragedy. But let's talk about a situation where maybe the father, she knows where he is. There are times where the kids are basically going to be like, "Oh, you're not my father," even though you're taking care of them. And they're going to be like, "Oh, I want my real dad. I hate you." And there are times when you're going to be treated like second best, second most important. So, like, the original father, if he doesn't take care of his kids or care, and you do all your life, there are certain occasions where the mom is still going to go to his original father for advice and or for things to do with the child, even against your will, because they'll use the excuse, "Oh, you're not the father of that child. He needs his biological father. He doesn't need you." And that by itself is a problem, because if you're taking care of a kid, financing him, financing the mom, to be honest, you are that kid's father. You are. And the man who's not doing any of that, the fact that he would be getting prioritization like that is unfair and quite frankly bullshit. Like if he's actually putting things in and taking care of his child, that's another situation in which that case you shouldn't have the burden of raising the child placed on you, if that's the case. But just know that you will always have a unbalanced relationship where you will never be first, and her kids will always come first, with her kid's father usually coming second whenever he needs something.
Fucking different today, knowing. Oh my god.
He for sure is not, but thank you.
No, he is.
Well, the episode's been viewed by nearly 1 million people so far. Reaction has been divided between those who celebrate Charlize as, quote, a powerful badass, epitome of a strong woman fighting against the evil patriarchy, and others who, in equally strident language, view the whole episode as yet another example of modern feminist media denigrating the role of men at every given opportunity, all of which makes it a good starting point for a lively debate. Well, joining me for this Battle of the Sexes, host of the Crucible podcast, Andrew Wilson, who I could imagine was visibly shuddering as he listened to those clips. Jedediah Byler, who's the host of the Jedediah Byler Show, commentator and author of The Case for Cancel Culture, Ernest Owens, and the editor of the User Mag newsletter, Taylor Lorenz. Well, welcome to all of you. And Jedediah, welcome to you especially, because...
Wait. If you notice something similar, they all have books here. So, there are two types of people. Like, for example, I have books here, but I don't use them as a way to feel smart, so you can just forget those books exist. But there are certain people that kind of use their background in order to explain to you, oh, they're a smart or a reputable person. So just so you know, there's always that. There's always that. And all three of them have it, so my guess is they're using it as a way to have some kind of like authority over attention for you. And that's just another thing to take note of. But yeah, I have books there too. But I guess technically I'm a hypocrite, but it happens. Let's keep going.
You're making your uncensored debut. We always like debutantes. I'm always astonished.
Thank you very much, Piers.
Always astonished when people come back for more. But thank God they do. And thank God Andrew Wilson does. Andrew, your thoughts on Charlize Theron? She doesn't need a man. She likes banging 26-year-olds when she feels like it. You don't need fathers in life. You just need a strong, badass woman.
Well, it's really funny. The reason nobody cares really very much when a 40-year-old attractive woman has sex with some random young man is because it's not impressive. It's impressive
That's true.
when men can bang young women, because most men can't bang young women, but most older women can bang young men. So it's just not an impressive accomplishment. Of course, these are the same women who will screech because, Leonardo DiCaprio decides that he wants to change up, at 25 years old, any of the broads he has hanging around. But this is not an impressive accomplishment.
Bro, that's so fucking true. Was it like I think it was like 8, or I think it was somewhere like 8 to 12 women, maybe more, that Leo's had. But everyone knows his infamous, I think she can't be older than 24 or 25. There was that. I heard recently he got with a 27-year-old. But I know for a long time, people have known about his infamous rule before he eventually dumps them. And I'm just gonna say this. Maybe the first 3 to 4 times, like, maybe I would feel bad for those women, but any woman after that knows what they're getting into and knows that tick tock tick. Oh, he got rid of you. Oh, fuck you. Yeah, but yeah. So any woman who got with him knows exactly what they were doing. Maybe they thought they were gonna be the one that captures his heart just for him to throw them out like trash. But yeah, that's a thing.
Accomplishment. All a woman needs to do to get laid is go somewhere where there's men and offer it up. It's not the case for men. So it's an unimpressive accomplishment on its face. As to the rest of what she's saying, this is just normal tripe, right? Her kids are the ones who are going to get punished. They're always the ones who get punished. We can look at the data for outcomes on children who are raised in single mother homes. It's not good. It's not good for their mental health. It's not. And by the way, the rates of abuse from having strange men around skyrocket. Yep. Terrible idea, and it's exactly the wrong kind of propaganda to be pushing.
I'll say this. You should not be bringing random people to your kids if you've only met them for like a week, a day, or a month. Like, you should have a very long-standing, like, relationship with them before you ever let them near your kids. Because basically, they're a stranger and you don't know. Even if you like them or think they're a good person, you should at least wait a few months before jumping the gun and thinking to introduce your kids to them, because that's just fucked. But yeah.
All right, Taylor Lorenz, isn't it just a factual reality of life that women are predominantly happier with a man by their side and children are predominantly better off in life with a present father?
Yes.
I think, listen, children are better off in life when they have a loving household, and not all of those households have fathers. I mean, there are lesbian parents, there are, different types of arrangements. I think it's important for kids to have different figures in their life who they can look up to. I think it's really important to expose kids to all different types of figures, but that doesn't have to be, like a man, a cisgender man that's standing around.
Cisgender, I'm gonna be honest with you. If anyone uses cisgender, I'm just gonna guess their IQ is low as fuck. I'm just gonna guess that. I'm gonna guess their IQ is low as fuck, or they're gonna use all the well-known buzzwords. Oh, racist, transphobic, Islamophobic. All those words that are meant to shut down a conversation. Whether or not the information that is spewing out is true, they will not care. They will use those words as a defense mechanism to, not override their brain with the ability to, hey, you should properly think what you're doing before you do something. But yeah, let's get into this. So I really hope she doesn't try to shut down conversation, because those words are already a huge red flag.
And all the time, there's plenty of terrible fathers out there too. So I think it's great that the child is growing up in a loving household, and hopefully, she'll expose the child to lots of different types.
Yeah, but can you acknowledge that we have now been studying this phenomenon of single motherhood for years and years and years, and that the outcomes for children of single mothers tend to be terrible in comparison to the outcomes of children without them? Can you just acknowledge that that is true?
Yep.
So I think what you're talking about are studies.
I'm asking a question. Don't run from the question. Yes or no? I want you to acknowledge.
I'll give you a perfect example of single motherhood, which is, look at the black community. There's a huge single motherhood problem there, and look at the outcomes for these kids. They're a lot more likely to go to jail. They're a lot more likely to be poor. They're a lot more likely to be emotionally unstable. And that's not indicative of all of them. That just shows that that trend is showing generally where these kids are worse off than other types of parents. So now let's get into this. Oh, and also I forgot to say, but when it comes to girls too, sometimes the girls are treated like absolute shit, while the guys are kind of treated like, babied and cared for more than the girl. So there's also occasions like that.
With a yes or no, then a qualifier. Yes or no, isn't it true that outcomes for children when they're raised by single mothers tend to be worse than those with a mother and a father in the house? Yes or no, then give me your answer.
So I'd love to respond if you stop talking over me.
Right, go ahead.
Anyway, most single mothers are not Charlize Theron with millions and millions and millions of dollars. So when you look at studies like that, a lot of it has to do with the economic opportunities that a lot of single mothers have. You know,
That's because they genuinely trend to not pick high-paying jobs, not do overtime, or just not be as hardworking. That's the general trend.
women make less than men as a whole. They're subject to more sexism and discrimination. So it can often be more challenging for them to raise
So
a child
yes.
alone.
So the answer is yes.
No, the answer is Charlize
That
Theron.
sounds like
is
you just said that the answer
average.
is yes. The answer,
That's
according
hard
to
for
you
any
just
single
now, is
parent.
yes.
No, any
And then
single
you just
parent.
make excuses for it. You're like, yes, but
Taylor,
because,
this is
because
not-
women
Going
are
on right
oppressed.
now. This is so weird. You're like shouting
Taylor,
at me.
can I
Do
jump
you know?
in here,
Well, do
Piers?
you know what it
Yeah,
is?
okay, let's bring,
Shouting at
hang
you.
on,
I'm
time
talking
out,
to you.
time out. Let's bring in Jedediah.
Taylor, this is not rocket science. First of all, you lost me at cis male. You just meet a guy, just a man, right? We don't need all these terms, these nonsensical,
Yeah.
ridiculous terms that, modern leftists have come up with. It's just a man. Children do better when there is a mom and there is a dad. And the reason is that men and women are completely different. They bring very different things to the table. And
Damn! I thought it was gonna be Andrew Wilson versus 3 women, but it seems like he has one of them on his side. Damn! That's pretty cool. But yeah, okay, I'm on her side. She's talking logically, so I'm already on her side. Let's see.
children need the role model of a mom and a dad, not just people around. Sure, you can have aunts, you can have uncles, you can have
Mhm.
friends, but
You
we're
don't think
talking about the
lesbians-
two
you don't think
individuals that
le-
are
you don't think the
raising
children of
children.
lesbians
And
are
let me just
happy?
ask you this question. Wait, I'm not done yet. You complained that Andrew interrupted you, and now you just interrupted me. I'm not done yet. Charlize Theron, you're right. She is rich. She has a ton of money. But what example do you think she's sending to young women everywhere that this is somehow empowering, that you should strive? By the way, you should strive to be the single mom because you don't have to deal with a guy. You don't have to answer to a man. Oh, isn't that so wonderful? And guess who'll pay the price? My kid, she even says, my kids can tell their story. How unbelievably selfish of her to say, my children will one day to get to tell a story that they had no father because I decided that I just wanted to do this myself, me, myself, and my money. Is that the message
wanted
that
to
we
go
should
hump
be sending to young
26-year-olds.
women?
They're lesbians. They shouldn't be able to raise children. You need a
And that's a problem. She's avoiding the question by instigating like lesbians as, oh, but what about this? Right now, they're not a big part of the topic. It's about single mothers, so she should keep it on topic. They could probably address it later, but as of now, she's using this as an excuse to not really go deeper into it, which is statistically, single moms are worse, statistically. Like, there are definitely outliers of, like, great single moms who did everything to make their children grow up the best possible situation they can. But in generality, outcomes tend to be worse for that group.
man. What about women that
We're
raise
not
children?
talking about Taylor. No one said what
talking
should
about
be
single
allowed. I'm not talking
moms.
about.
Well, tell me what I
legal.
find. Tell me what I find strange. What I find strange is I know Charlize a bit when she was dating Sean Penn, and thought she was very nice, but she was always very elegant. If you interviewed her, her whole thing was high-end, elegant, all the highest-end advertising and so on. And then you see her there in this podcast, and she's like effing and blinding, talking about banging 26-year-olds. Very, very different, Ernest, to the Charlize Theron I thought I knew. I'm not saying it's good, bad, or whatever, but I do wonder if it was a male movie star sitting on a sofa, brazenly boasting about banging 26-year-olds. How old is Charlize? 50. If a 50-year-old male star was boasting about banging 26-year-old girls, right, and he was boasting about not needing a woman in his life, not needing a mother, all these kind of things, but in reverse, I don't think you'd be approving of this, Ernest.
I think he's absolutely right. But here's my example. I generally don't care as long as it's over 18. I don't really care that much, really. So yeah, you can boast about it. It's not super impressive, but if you want, you can boast about it. Because the thing I think is like, when a girl turns 18, for guys her age, they are fucking broke and they don't have any of the life experience to like really get her, which hurts them in the market because the guy's going after her. Let's say he's 30, he has a, I don't know, like a Toyota, a house, a couple nice toys. He's gonna lose to him. And generally, if a girl could choose that younger guy with all the finances of that 30-year-old, she usually would. But if that 30-year-old came versus a broke guy, most of the time that broke guy is losing. And for single moms, what usually happens is a lot of guys will look at her, but they're not looking at her as marriage material. So sometimes younger guys will go for older women to have fun, do a few things, but they're not looking for marriage. So what happens is it's the same thing where for guys, on the other hand, it's that access to younger women is a little harder because older men are taking away their competition. But the opposite is true for older women, where older men generally are not interested in them anymore. So younger guys get with them to have some fun, do fun, but then generally they're still in the phase of building wealth, exercising, and all that.
Tax day has passed, but for millions of Americans, that's where the trouble begins. The IRS is now ramping up enforcement for those who missed the April deadline or still owe back taxes. Well, today's sponsor, Tax Network USA, can still help. If your books are a mess, if you're self-employed, or if you're a business owner, Tax Network USA specializes in cleaning up financial chaos and getting you back on track quickly. They say the IRS is applying enforcement pressure at levels they've never seen before. But even after the deadline, it's not too late to take control. Your consultation is completely free. Acting now could stop penalties, threatening letters, and surprise levies before they escalate. Call 1-800-958-1000 or visit tnusa.com/peers. That's tnusa.com/peers. Let Tax Network USA make the next move, not the IRS.
I mean, for starters, I'm all for if it's about consent and respect. They do it all the time. A lot of older men do it all the time on media, on social media, in interviews. It's not actually an uncommon thing. I think the reason why there's a lot of actual shock and awe over Charlize Theron because a lot of women actually her age don't feel the liberty to do that on a public facing platform. And so that's why we're talking about her.
Now, the thing is, I think a lot of women her age do it. Just that's what happens. Young men are broke. Older women, tend to have some money, so they might be a little more lenient because the men their age generally, they're already checked out. They're already gone.
We don't talk about men who do it often on here because it's so norm. I mean, if you look at who's in politics currently right now, they were just doing it their entire career before they got to the White House. So it's not that much of a shock. There's a guy who got elected president.
Yeah, and you screamed bloody murder about it.
And got elected. And so
and you screamed bloody murder about it. What are you
Ernest,
talking about? Hang on. You liberals said that was the most horrible thing. He was a terrible role model. How could he? And here's Charlize Theron is saying this, and you're like, she's an empowered boss babe, Andrew. Come on.
See, if I talk over him, Piers made to tell me to be quiet and
you were done talking, dude. You were done talking.
Come on,
no,
Ernest.
I wasn't done talking, actually.
Let them finish.
You can, Ernest. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. So what I was getting at is that there is a double standard. And I think, honestly, like I said before, I don't know what liberal he's talking about, but I was not a liberal that said that Trump talking about grab her by the pussy was the worst thing he ever said, because there's a lot of other things he has said that I believe is far worse and actually should cause more attention. But that being said, I just feel like the only reason why we're talking about it is because women like Charlize Theron often don't do this on a normal. So it feels abnormal, and that's why we're discussing it.
Okay,
Ernest,
Andrew.
Why do these libs talk out of both sides of their mouth? I mean, look at it. She refused to acknowledge the outcomes for single moms. Pivots immediately.
Let's be clear.
Hang on.
Let's be clear.
Immediately.
No.
Dude, exactly. That woman pivoted immediately to lesbians when you talked about single moms, which, I'm gonna be honest, a lesbian technically isn't a single mom if she has another woman helping her raise her child. Like, unless she's dating her without letting them into the child's life, like, they should not be part of the conversation.
Hang on.
No.
Immediately.
Do not call me a
Yeah. Look, I'm sorry. If you have progressive talking points, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, I call it a duck. So the thing
Listen, I
is,
said
right? The
something.
libs on the panel very clearly, right? She evades the answer, refuses to give us the answer of if outcomes for children of single moms are worse, refuses, gives us a bunch of qualifiers proving that they are, still refuses to do it. He says, well, this is so commonplace for men. Look at the sexual deviant that we have in the White House, and says, but I'm not throwing a fit about that. I'm not throwing a fit about that, though. Yeah,
This is
they
so
did throw a fit
an
about it.
ineffective discussion.
So
This man
let me
is just
start right here.
pissing
I'm
over
sorry.
everyone. Like,
Fuck.
he's very
I know, it's an
emotional
ineffective
right now.
discussion. I would like you, I would just like you to actually answer the questions I ask you. Why can't
I
you
would love
people
Ernest,
ever
you
do
said,
that?
I have a
So this
question
is
for
not
Ernest.
this show anymore, I guess. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
Ernest,
This is
you
not
said
this
there was,
show. Whose show
hold
is
on a
it?
second, guys. Ernest, you said there was a double standard. What are you, in your view, where is the double standard? Because I see a double standard here, but I think we
Okay.
see a different double standard.
Cool. So what I was saying was the double standard reaction, right? There is a lot of reaction because of what Charlize Theron said. I'm saying that I understand where that is coming from because we don't often see women like Charlize Theron on these platforms talking about their sexuality in this
But
way
it's
at their
celebrated.
age.
Ernest, that's not true. But here's the difference.
That's the
Every
thing, yeah,
time
celebrated.
a man, every time, hold on a second. Every time a man says, a guy can't even say that he prefers younger women. He can't even say, well, you know what? I prefer younger women because of their fertility is better, because they're in their peak attractiveness, because I want to have a bunch of kids and it gives me more time, without getting completely trashed.
If Brad,
The
if
difference
Brad
Ooh, that's true. Generally, the women that would complain are gonna be the ones above 30. Generally, the ones that will complain about it, and yeah, it's just
is that
let's be
happens.
when,
clear. Let's
hold
be
on a
clear.
second.
Hang on. Let's be clear. If Brad Pitt came out with an interview tomorrow on Uncensored, and I hope he does. If you're watching Brad, my show is always available to you. But if he was, and he said, do you know what? Just only last week, I had the most unbelievable sex with a hot 26-year-old, right? Do you think the reaction, Ernest, would have been widespread applause for this guy? Or would it have been, you dirty old man? No. I'm not saying that I feel that about Charlize Theron. I'm just saying that's the double standard, right? Leo DiCaprio gets mocked at every award show because he dates women half his age. Now it's Charlize Theron. Everyone's like, oh, this is amazing.
Piers,
A man would have been called a
I can
groomer.
give you an example where that backfired. So let me be very clear. So let me give you a good example of this actually. First of all, it's if it's a pattern, right? Charlize Theron is not doing this on the regular. That's why this is a big news story. She's been mostly in long-term relationships. She does not have a habit of doing this. Leonardo DiCaprio's entire a lot of his romantic history has been this pattern, which has become a running joke. The first couple years he did it, no one cared. But it's been decades, like over
Ernest,
10
that's
years.
Not why that's not why it's a news story. With respect,
that's your opinion.
First of all, both of those things have been covered in the news. But the reason, what Pierce is getting at, I think, I don't want to put words in his mouth. This is being celebrated. Do you understand the difference? Modern feminism has made it so that we now celebrate that Charlize Theron. And by the way, I don't give a lick. Honestly, it's consensual. I don't care if she sleeps with a 26-year-old.
And by the way, there are a lot of 26-year-old men who will be absolutely thrilled that she's on the cougar market.
That's correct.
I mean, there will be.
And I don't care either. We can agree there. But
hopefully they don't marry her. But yes, recreational use only.
I'm smart enough to acknowledge that she is being celebrated for that action, whereas a Leonardo DiCaprio or the average guy, for that matter, just saying, hey, I prefer a 22-year-old to a 32-year-old, will get destroyed in every possible
you know
media.
what? I actually have no problem with what she said about a 26-year-old. That's entirely down to her. She's a single woman. She can have sex with who the hell she likes if it's consenting an adult. I do, though, have a problem with, and Andrew was, I think, right about this. In a way, what she's saying is all your quaint ideas about you need a bloke around, you need a father, you need a husband, that's all bullshit. Look at me, I'm proof it's all great. I don't believe women when they say that. I don't believe men when they say the same thing. You know, I just think that actually the ideal is that you have a man and woman around kids and they bring them up together. And if that isn't possible and it doesn't work out, okay, you make it work. But to actually try and pretend this is actually utopia and this is the best possible thing for your kids, I don't think that's true. And I say that as a divorcee myself. I don't think this is ever actually the ideal, but you make it work as best you can. I wanted to switch gears to something which really did annoy me. Lily Allen, the pop star, former pop star, let's be accurate. Talking about abortion.
Abortions. I've had a few,
Right.
but then again, I can't remember exactly how many.
What, really?
Yeah.
Oh god.
Why didn't this come up in last week's episode where we were just talking about abortions?
Because I was just letting you run with it.
Reveal everything.
I can't remember. Yeah, I think maybe like I want to say 4 or 5.
Yeah, I've heard about 5 too. Lily, I'm so happy I can say that and you can say it and no one came to shoot us down.
No judgment.
No judgment. We've had about the same amount of abortions.
Okay. Now, before I continue, this was a clip I saw ahead of time, which is why I want to talk about this specific clip. Because I know women would always be like, "Oh, you can't say it, my body, my choice, blah blah blah." I don't give a fuck. But a lot of women, like, this is the reason why men should have authority over this topic. It's because women like that usually always also say abortion is essential healthcare. And when you talk about healthcare, you're talking about my wallet, which gives me a right to tell you whether or not we should be voting on it. But anyways, now that we got that aspect of it through, let's look at this. So, I know a lot of women are like, "Oh, blah 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 this, blah 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 that." So, let's look at this. Okay, 0.4 rape and or incest. But so now that we have this, so everyone knows this one is bad, and I'm perfectly fine with this one being terminated. I think it's fully dependent on the mom's choice and or the parent's choice with the mom of the baby's choice. But now let's see, risk to a woman's life. This one I also agree with. If it's a major risk and they can't like have the baby without the mother dying, I agree with it. But if they can do a C-section and help her, I generally think it should be done instead. Physical health concerns, also agree. Abnormal unborn baby, so also agree. So I think all of these either have, in my mind, either have like 100% acceptance or overall acceptance for the abortion. Well, let's talk about almost 96%. This is what a lot of feminists say is essential healthcare, which is their lack of forethought, their lack of planning, should account for them getting an abortion. And worst of all, they always try to say that abortion should be gotten off of your tax dollars. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this at all. They should have gotten a condom. They should have gotten Plan B. They should have gotten the female condoms. They should have gotten like those pills. They should have gotten any of that before having, intercourse, which guess what? Results in having a baby. Intercourse results in having a babies. So any activities related to this, I actually don't believe that they should get an abortion. And the whole idea is simple. Because basically you being a retard doesn't result in the baby having to lose its life. Like, I think that's completely selfish, self-absorbed, and quite frankly fucking evil. Because like, we can make a case for all of these, which makes sense. Everyone can understand, or at least mostly agree with reasons why these are fine. But when it comes to this, no. You being a retard and spreading your legs should not result in the baby dying because of it. That's your responsibility. It's your fault you let someone hit, and it's your fault you either decided not to use any sort of protection, and it's your fault for being dumb. So the reason I hate a lot of abortion arguments is because they run away from women taking accountability for the men they sleep with, or them not being willing to sleep with condoms and or other things. Like, for example, I had a friend who had a girlfriend, and what was the biggest thing? What was the absolute biggest thing revolving around them two? I'll tell you exactly what it was. It was that he could have used condoms. She could have used Plan B. They could have used any sort of protection. But guess what? They had a baby. And the reason was because his girlfriend said she felt uncomfortable when he wore a condom and she didn't like how it felt. And that's why she wanted to have unprotected sexual intercourse with her. Like that is your fucking fault. That is absolutely your fault. 100%. But yeah, so this is my overall thought, which is these I'm either fully or mostly supportive of, and this I'm just gonna say women should not be freed from retarded actions in any of these. And what I would like is specifically when it comes to these, first you have to find if the man did do it and then prosecute him on it. If he's prosecuted, then I agree with the abortion. But if it's found out she's just lying because she wants an abortion or because she wants to ruin his life, he should absolutely sue her to oblivion for defamation and absolutely have all his court fees paid by her. And she should serve jail time. And that, with the exception of like maybe the baby can be given to the parents after it's born and then put back in jail. But yeah, that's my core beliefs. Simple.
You know what, Taylor? I'm not going to judge them in the way they think I'm going to judge them. I'm not going to judge them for having abortions. I believe in a woman's right to choose what she does with her body. I know, and I'm.
Yeah, I'll say this. The Pierce version of the argument, I'll only agree with it in one condition, which is if a woman has absolute authority over the baby that she and her boyfriend and or husband and or a random man have, and he gets absolutely zero say in whether the baby's life lives or not, then he should also have the ability to not pay a single dollar for the child. If women want this absolute authority over if their baby dies, the man should have no forced accountability of paying for the child and the woman. He should have absolutely nothing enforced upon him if she wants that right. This is basically it. If we go to that extreme, I will go to that extreme. He should be able to bail out on the child's life if she wants him to have zero say over the abortion. But yeah, now let's continue.
We'll come to Andrew's position on that. I think we know what it is, and I'll get your view. But the point is, Taylor, I'm not against abortion. I am against women that talk about it so glibly. I am against two women sitting there just brazenly talking in a very kind of slightly boastful way. We've had 10 abortions between us, and Lily Allen can't even remember how many abortions she's had. I don't like that aspect to what was going on there. I think it's distasteful. I think it trivializes abortion.
Mm-hmm.
Abortion, whether you agree with it or not, you should always treat it, I think, as a serious thing, which should be taken seriously and dealt with seriously. That, to me, was trivializing it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that, I hear you, Piers, and I take your point. I think that most women have a struggle with access to abortion, especially now here in America.
As I said, if that almost 96% is that woman, she should be forced to pay for it if she wants to get one. But in most cases, I don't fucking agree with her getting an abortion because of her not buying goddamn condoms, Plan B or something, before sleeping with a guy. Like, don't have baby-making activities if you're gonna have an accident which results in having a baby. Shocker. Huge fucking shocker.
And I think that normalizing the idea of having abortion is overwhelmingly a good thing.
Well, we shouldn't normalize the idea of having 5 abortions with 2 women there basically making out, oh, thank God we can talk about this now. It's like this is normal. That's not normal to have 5 abortions.
It should be normal to have easy access to abortion. It should be.
Nope. If you're going to make this argument, then you better do it in a way that doesn't result in my money funding your baby fucking being genocided. I'm going to say it. If she wants it, I should not have to pay a single dollar for that 96%. If it goes that way, that's my way. She should pay it fully off of her money. I don't want her getting freed from accountability and bailed out by the taxpayers because she's a retard.
Do that, but that's a political matter. That's a social matter for the women. But it's the way you talk about it, I think, is actually, for example, in America, where it's a really hot potato issue, I can imagine everyone. I'll come to Andrew for his, what I think will be his response. I can imagine it. He'll be very angry because he doesn't agree with abortion to start with. To then see women, high-profile women like this, famous women, just talking about it in such a glib manner.
Want to restrict because they want to restrict women's rights and they want to restrict women's access to healthcare. This is
And that's the problem. I hate that's the reason I brought that healthcare thing up earlier. Because I knew someone was gonna use it, and I was right. But this is what I mean. Restrict women's access to healthcare. Which coincides with, let me quickly get something. Here it is. This is what I was thinking of. But restrict women's access to healthcare. They'll say my body, my choice. They'll say whatever. But then they forget this little thing. That they're gonna turn it into a healthcare argumentation. Then they're gonna say, "Oh, we want free healthcare for all," or some bullshit like that. And guess what? Free healthcare for all means. See this thing? Yeah, you see this thing? But if free healthcare for all was implemented, this would be probably like $20 that I get back, and the rest the government takes away from me, and all because I have to fund a bunch of stupid women's decisions. Now, that's bullshit, and that's the reason why I don't like this argumentation. Because the moment you turn it into healthcare is the moment that my money gets funneled into abortion, which gives me the absolute authority to talk about it whatever way I want. Because I think it's retarded that women want to turn it into only I can talk about it and nobody else can. Like, fuck you. What about my money and my choice? What about my choice to work? You're gonna punish me for working and having money? Fuck you.
This is essential. Abortion is essential healthcare. It's, and I understand what you're saying, but it is healthcare, yes, and it's really
Utterly
important.
ridiculous.
For too. It's not ridiculous. It saves women's lives in many cases to have an abortion.
Oh, wait. Oh, let's go back. Now she did the saving women's lives. Let's go back. So, risk to the women's life or major bodily function or other physical health concerns. So, when we add these two together, this is literally 2.5% of abortions. You can't generalize this as saying every abortion equals this, because the vast majority of them is, oh, I just don't want to have the baby because I'm a retard. So you can't equate these to, oh, this is all abortion because it saves all women's lives. It's an absolute bullshit argument made on bullshit, enforced by people who are bullshit, and on a foundation of bullshit. So yeah, boom. I knew. I was ready for this. I was ready for this shit.
Abortion, and it's really hard for women to get access, and they feel a lot of shame around it because of this.
No, they don't. A lot of women, I'm just gonna say, even women that never had a single abortion in their life, I'm gonna say it. Kamala's entire election ran on, oh, we're gonna give you abortions, you're gonna have abortions, you're gonna be able to abort people, right? That's literally what her major thing for women was, abortion. This is not, there's like negative sentiment around it. No, it's the popular opinion. It's the complete popular opinion among young women that, oh, you're restricting my rights. You're restricting my access to my body. Well, guess what? Men can't have abortions. So what? They don't have that right either. So now that we know that, like, this is why I hate it, because these people always go to that argumentation, which is bullshit. Anyway, I'm sorry for like stopping so much, but you know what I mean. This is all bullshit.
Stigma.
Does it sound, Taylor? Does it sound to you like those women feel a lot of shame around abortion? Is that what it sounds like?
The point is that many women are taught, and it sounds like you guys on this very panel want women to feel shame about it, and in fact, they should not.
I mean, shouldn't be. Should you be proud of it? Is the point? I mean, let me bring Andrew in here. I mean, Andrew, I know your position on abortion, but notwithstanding that, it doesn't really concern me really whether people are for or against it. It's the way they're talking about it. I find. So let's
Well,
let's
it's
leave the
totally,
argument about whether they.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
But it's totally self-centered and selfish. And look, she says, I'm not a lib. Women need to have more abortions. The thing is or have more access to abortions. She lies through her teeth. It's a healthcare procedure. Most women's lives, when they have abortions, has nothing to do with the life of them at all, their physical health at all. Total lies from the left. On top of that, let's just point out that what they're really doing there is they're sitting there going, I just like totally murdered 5 of my kids. And the other one's like, yeah, me too. Isn't that great, sweetheart?
Sure.
The other one's like, yeah, totally. That's it's so awesome that we can just kill our children. Isn't that great? And so we normal people, we normal people.
And this is the thing. Oh, misogynistic. Well, misogynistic being, oh, I don't want to have my child, so I should kill it. Fine, if you want to go to that extreme, then if the man doesn't want to have the child and the woman does, he should not be forced to take responsibility by the government. He should not have to pay a single cent for that child if you want men to have zero say in whether or not the baby lives or dies.
People hear so anyway, we normal people hear this, like regular Joes, and of course we're disgusted by it. The fact of the matter is it just shows a complete and total lack of caring for humanity, lack of caring for children. This is supposed to be the more empathetic sex, and yet when they have power over vulnerable life, they kill it. Really?
Exactly.
You're convince me that's the more empathetic, more vulnerable sex? Give me a break.
I just have one little this.
Yeah.
Oh, and the abortion is not murder. I've also heard this argument too. But basically, the way they say it is it's not murder because if you don't want it to be a baby, it's not a baby. I forgot the exact amount of time, but I would say there's a potential argumentation between how long you can have an abortion for before it becomes bad. Like, I'd say the moment the baby feels pain, 100% after that moment, no abortions. No fucking abortions. If we really went to that extreme, no abortion. I don't remember the exact amount of time. I probably should ask Rock. But, let's see. When do babies in the mother experience pain? That is bad spelling. Let's see, what time does it take? 106. So no pain. Okay, so 25 weeks basically. So anytime afterwards, fuck off. The baby knows pain, it feels pain, and you're basically murdering it in a way that actually it experiences fucking dying. Like, before, at least, you have the argumentation that because it doesn't feel pain, there is at least not that demonic factor in it. But after it feels pain, like that baby is going through hell because you're irresponsible.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just two things, right? I think that some people will feel like the way in which she went about discussing was tasteless. I think that for people listening to it, I did. I think that there's a better, in my personal taste, right? I think there could have been a better way she could have said it, but that's just my personal preference. And I think that's just how she is with a lot of things. Lily Allen, I don't agree with a lot of things that Lily Allen says or how she says it per se. And I think that's the real thing here. However, what I think is important is that everybody's getting abortions. This whole libs, far left, far right stuff. I really get annoyed with that because it's almost as if you're acting like only one, like everybody makes decisions based on their political ideologies, and that's just so immature. And
well, listen, we can look at the reproductive.
Libs.
Yeah, we can look at the reproductive stats, and we know which political party's advocating for abortion and which one isn't. We know which political party's advocating for it, which one's not.
I don't come with that. Like, I'm just saying, it's not for me, this is not a libs thing or whatever.
I agree to a certain extent. Some women that are more conservative will be for it. Some women that are liberal would be against it. But generally, liberals are more willing to support it, and conservative women are less likely to support it. In general, there are always, that faction that may or may not agree.
It's really just a matter of taste. And that's what I.
But how could it not be? How could it not be a liberal?
Yeah, completely politically charged.
All right, let Jedediah speak. Jedediah.
How could it not be if liberals are the ones, I mean, just be honest, liberals are the ones that are promoting a pro-abortion culture. Liberals are the ones that are saying
true.
they should be
All
celebrated.
conservatives are
The
having
word here,
abortions.
Ernest, hold on a second. The word here to be used is these women are celebrating abortions. And you see young women all over TikTok, by the way, and all over.
Oh, that's true. I've seen a couple of videos where the woman is having like an abortion party or an abortion cake, or a being like, or a like anniversary for having an abortion cake. That shit's fucked up. That shit's demonic.
Social media who are echoing these voices now. So an abortion is something, whether you believe it should be, it was supposed to be safe, legal, and rare. That was the idea when people were.
That was, by the way, Obama said that. Obama said that exact quote.
Advocating back in the day, pro-abortion advocates were saying safe, legal, and does this sound rare to you? Oh, every time I have sex, I just run and get an abortion like I went to the dentist. This is
shouldn't be rare.
of the mind.
Access to healthcare shouldn't be rare. Access to
No,
healthcare.
Taylor, no one's talking about access. No one, you have access to a whole bunch of things in society. That doesn't mean you utilize them. These are women that are going into
because when you
Like
stigmatize
guns,
abortion,
like guns,
when
right?
you
Like
stigmatize
guns, right?
abortion, when you stigmatize abortion, it leads to less abortion access.
Murder?
When you
Stigmatize murder, it leads to less murder.
Yeah, but actually, Taylor, that argument works the other way, because if you trivialize it and you look like you're slightly gleeful and you're very proud of having had 5 abortions, as both of them appear,
yeah, then that would influence other women to do the same.
To come over, and that's just the way we can judge them from that clip. They said don't be judgmental. Well, actually you can be when people are apparently trivializing it in the way they were. But I think my point is that the reason Andrew is so exercised is not just because he's anti-abortion, but here's exactly what he's been saying for a long time, which is a lot of women treat it like it's just another thing, when actually it's more serious. And I agree with that. Even though I support women's rights to have an abortion, no one should be like proud or gleeful or joyful or celebratory about it. It should. I just think the tone you use to talk about it should be serious.
Can you understand how that stigmatizing? Can you understand how that stigmatizing sort of framework would be used to restrict access to abortion? Saying, well, you're not pious enough, you haven't repented enough, you're not sorry enough, so you don't deserve access. That is what is used to strip women's
Taylor,
rights.
it should be
And that's the problem too, which is this is not really women's rights. This is women's versus babies' rights. And whose life matters more at the time. If it threatens the mother's life, I am perfectly fine with it. But if you're going to have it, no problems and nothing bad is going to happen to you, and you just want to kill the baby just because you were a retard and, slept with the wrong guy with no protection, that's your fault and that's your accountability for doing it. Absolutely your fucking fault.
Stigmatizing, it should be stigmatizing for women to talk about abortion like that. This is sick. This is your empowered women now out there saying, oh, I don't know, I had 4 abortions, 5 abortions, 6 abortions, like you went for a root canal.
You go,
I mean,
girl.
listen, this is not the face of an empowered woman. This is pathetic. It's sad. And this is the product, sorry to say, this is the product of modern feminism and what it has done to women, that now they weaponize their ability to kill, because that's my view. So I'm going to say it. They weaponize their ability to kill, and they expect society to put a big stamp of approval on it. And people like you do.
True.
I'm not doing it. I'm not condoning it. I'm not doing it. I'm calling it out. And if they feel stigmatized by their behavior, then so be it. Maybe that has more to do with their behavior, their crappy behavior, their sick, twisted behavior than it does by what I'm saying about it.
Okay, hold on. Wait.
Yep, 100% agree. Dude, I love this.
Wait, I just want to say this real quick. Let's be real honest here. Even if you personally do not support abortion, you really think that it's a murder, there would be no way, quite frankly, that you want anyone to discuss it. So I think it's intellectually dishonest to act as though we're going to use this extreme of Lily Allen, which I do agree, right? I personally think that the way that Lily Allen discussed it was not the best way. But to be honest, for those who do not support abortion, which I do support a woman's right to choose, there would have never been a way for you to approve it. So you're using the most extreme example as a way to now double down and justify every other belief that you have on this.
That's the dumbest thing. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. We talk about murder openly all the time. What are you talking about?
Support it. So why are we talking about Lily Allen?
Yeah, so what? We talk about things we don't support all the time. What are you talking about?
So here's what Piers Morgan and I are understanding. So let's make common sense. Piers and I both, I assume, support a woman's right to choose. I don't know, but I think we do. We both do not
Okay.
agree about the taste of how Lily Allen did it. However, I think for some of you all on this episode, you're not going
Yeah.
to ever agree with this. So stop acting like Lily Allen is an example of all women who discuss having abortions, because it's not true. You just want to use it as an example to dismiss the case of abortions, period. And so that's the
that's so.
reality.
Well, I see.
Oh yeah, almost forgot to say this, but 1/3 of my generation is fucking dead because of abortion. 1/3. These were people that were supposed to be here, and supposed to be with me and all that. They're all fucking dead. Yeah, that's fucking terrible knowing. 1/3 of Gen Z doesn't even exist.
See, hang on. Let me respond.
That's-
I
yeah.
see. What a genius argument. Yes, Andrew, you think that all murder and murderers are bad, so you're going to point at serial
Exactly.
killers and say,
You
see
don't
how
think
bad that
it's the
is?
point- it's the
Great
point of
argument,
conversation.
genius.
No,
You-
it's a great
it's
point.
Lord.
You would have never
What
said
a,
that.
what a
Shameful
what a wonderful argument.
What's the point
You
of
haven't
having a
responded to his
conversation?
argument, so clearly it's pretty good because you have zero
That was
response.
the argument. Do you
comment.
understand? Do you understand that I can take things that are happening socially, point to the worst of them, even if I don't agree with them, to use that as an example of why it's bad? Why thing bad? Thing
Responded,
bad
you're
because
just
look,
mocking
you
and
can see that
crashing
why thing
out.
bad. Do you not? Why do you not
Crashing
get
out
this?
right now. You're crashing
Right,
out
Curtis,
right
this
now.
is
It's
this
so
is an
obvious.
extreme
They
example.
never liked abortion. They never did.
This is an
So it was no
whether
point
you
to have
like
this conversation
abortion,
about Lily
whether
Allen.
you support abortion or not, we're not making up this extreme example. This extreme example
Yeah.
exists, and we're
Yeah, that's the thing about me. I'm not 100% against abortion, but I'm more like, to be honest, I would say exactly 90% against it. Pretty much almost all cases, unless that, as I told you, that roughly a little higher than 4% of those things exist. Well, that's mostly my thing. And then there are some girls that would be like, my body, which is they're not willing to have this conversation because a lot of women specifically don't want to argue about it. It's annoying.
commenting on it because there were women all over the country, by the way, that will say things like, my body, my choice, who cares? Oh, yeah. And you know what? It's escalating down to other things like Plan
No, it's
B.
not.
People popping Plan Bs like candy now.
They've been
This stuff
doing
is
it.
not being taken seriously.
Yes.
And the
So it's
bottom line
good
is
because
whether
they've
you
done it.
support abortion or not, this is a serious
it's
matter. And the fact that we have women out there talking about it like a trip to the dentist, that is a problem that we need to acknowledge.
Yeah,
and figure
I
out
gotta
what's
say,
there.
I have to say, I
outliers.
agree with that. I don't think that the way they spoke about it did them any credit at all. And I think it actually, if I was somebody who was against abortion, that would have really enraged me to see people who have access to free and fair abortions because they're in a country where it's fine, but they talk about it in such a glib manner. I don't like it. Let's just change gears to something else, which is just struck me as a bit odd. So I think Taylor, you said earlier that women, about Charlize Theron, women don't get paid as much as men. In fact, it's just been revealed by the Hollywood Reporter, the Hollywood Bible, that the biggest grossing movie star ever is Scarlett Johansson, which I'm told, staggering though that may seem, and I'm a bit surprised myself because I've appeared in 10 movies as myself, and those movies have grossed $2.4 billion. So I'm a little surprised I'm not in the mix myself. However, she's bigger than Tom Cruise, bigger than Stallone, bigger than Schwarzenegger, bigger than all of them. And the reason apparently is the Avengers. She's been in the whole Avengers stuff, which obviously, and Jurassic Park and other huge grossing films. But she's moaning, as obviously, when you get an accolade like this, the first thing to do is to complain about it, that she's often been cast for sexist reasons. So,
yeah, I'm going to say that. She knew what she was getting into. If she didn't like it, she didn't have to agree to those movies. Fuck Scarlett Johansson. She's living a life with privilege upon privilege upon privilege upon privilege upon privilege, and now she's complaining about it. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck your opinion.
I'll come to you on this. When promoting, I think, Jurassic Park, Jurassic Park Rebirth movie came out this weekend. So when I was younger, a lot of the roles I was offered or I went for had their ambitions or character arcs revolving around their own desirability or the male gaze or a male-centered story. That's less frequent, though. Something has shifted. I mean, this idea that we might go to the movies to look at beautiful people, that males may gaze at beautiful women. Is this the most shocking bombshell of the week, Andrew?
Also, it's not just that. Like, how stupid to admit that out loud. Basically, aren't you just admitting that you were a skank for money? Like, if it was really a big deal, you're like, oh, God, the male gaze, they're sexualizing me. It's all, why would you take the role then? Just don't take
Exactly.
the role. But apparently, if it pays good enough, she must not mind too much about that.
Bro, exactly, man. Bro, exactly, man. Imagine. Oh, it's sexist. I don't want to degrade myself. I don't want to. $20 million. Take everything off. Take everything off. Yeah, $20 million. Like, if you're going to be greedy, and make a decision like that, at least don't be a fucking hypocrite. At least don't be a fucking dickhead.
Gaze thing, huh? Because when it came time for her to collect those millions of dollars based on the male gaze, she definitely took the role. So I would like her to give an explanation for that. Male gaze bad, but I like to contribute to it as much as possible for money. Aren't you just basically admitting that you're a Hollywood prostitute at that point? Like, if it's a conflict with your values, aren't you selling out for money, literally?
Well,
like,
Taylor, your eyebrows just nearly exploded,
prostitution?
so clearly you don't agree with that.
I think it's just shocking the disgusting misogynistic way that Andrew can't help but talk about women.
And here's the thing. I'm just gonna straight up say it. If she looked like Scarlett Johansson, she would be doing the same thing. I'm just gonna say it. A lot of women, if they were as hot as her and had the position to, they would take it. They would fucking take it on the spot. Just so you guys know. Like, don't believe her. Don't believe her. She's just saying this because people aren't willing to pay her $20 million to do the same.
I mean, I would say also, by the way,
a woman?
No, women generally seem to have.
No, I'm sorry. It's not a monolith. If I can critique a woman, that's not critiquing all women. You see how that works?
Critiquing all libs, the whole show.
Yeah.
All libs.
No, these libs. These libs are not all libs.
I'm
You see how
not
that
a lib.
works?
Oh my God, it's so crazy how
Oh yes,
you
you're
guys.
a lib, lady.
Everyone that
Oh, yeah.
doesn't like, you don't
You just so
like is a
happen to
lib.
be liberal on every social policy, but you're not a liberal. Huh?
Liberals are hardly where I'm at on social issues. Anyway, my point is that Scarlett Johansson, Piers, I don't know that I would classify that quote as moaning. What she seems to be talking about is just how her roles have changed over time. I would note that overwhelmingly women are paid less than men, even the highest actor.
Okay, she's talking about. Okay, we'll get into this real quick. Well, this is a very easy topic to easily, like, get rid of. But women tend to work less hours than men. Women tend to work jobs that are easier than men. Women tend to like jobs that are in offices or with AC. Or in, like, you know, some sort of, like, middle manager position or HR. Women love jobs like that. They also love nursing. But men are willing to work in nuclear power plants. They're willing to work in coal mines. They're willing to work construction. They're willing to work, like, heavy machinery. They're willing to work warehouse jobs. And on a lot of occasions, men destroy their bodies for jobs like that. Those jobs are so hard and so demanding that, guess what? They get paid more because it's far harder, like, even laying bricks on a construction site, than it would be just being a teacher or an HR manager. Like, yes, those jobs are annoying, but if you have to bend down all day laying brick by brick by brick by brick, that's going to destroy your body. It's going to destroy it far quicker. And you deserve more money for doing such an essential job that is needed for society. Because HR, I'm going to say it, you could fire someone in HR and get rid of them in one day. But if you like fire a master electrician, most cases are, if you don't have a replacement ready, you're going to struggle finding him, and then your electrical work is not going to be finished and it's not going to be done correctly. Or operating heavy machines. If you put a new guy in it and he fucks up, guess what? That's millions of dollars of damage, or even hundreds of thousands, and your project's fucked. But yeah,
might be paid as a woman. But I think that what she's saying is basically, it's not a myth that women are paid less.
The
I'm
equal
sorry.
pay myth, equal pay myth that we can. I mean, that's a whole separate conversation.
I think in
That's a
Hollywood
myth.
now it's pretty well equal pay, isn't it? If you get the big roles, I don't think.
Well, I think. I think
In music, most of the biggest stars now are currently women, aren't they? Beyonce, Taylor Swift.
Right, but
I mean,
if you
I don't know. I can't think of many industries where.
Exactly. Here's the thing. And here's the biggest example of why this is bullshit. If you go into makeup or modeling, it's gonna be like predominantly women being paid more. The problem with a lot of feminists is they like taking the benefits of a man without looking at the downsides of being a man. So, for example, if a man is overwhelmingly benefiting because a lot of them tend to be CEOs and they're like, oh, this is unfair. Well, then why aren't women working hard to build up businesses from the ground themselves? If you're so angry about it, you should build up your business. But yeah, there's that. Then another thing is, like, look, when you put models, usually they would put beautiful women modeling clothes. Like, why do you think stores like Ross, Walmart, and all that will have a women's section, technically at minimum 2 times bigger than the men's section? It's because they know these things are visited predominantly by women, not by men. So giving men less options and giving women more options is more financially savvy because it helps. But her whole thing is, oh, this is unfair because of this, even though they're showing her examples that it isn't. It's called supply and demand. And if people want to see a certain person, or that person has the certain skills to do the job, they're gonna be paid more because they are worth more. Also, she has like, those crazy eyes that tell you like everything you need to know. People with eyes like this, fucking terrifying.
Women are not actually paid at least
just
or more than men.
Just because there are a few very high paid women in entertainment industries doesn't mean that women across the board make more than men. And when you look at other industries like finance or
Oh, the reason why women don't do... Okay. Women got access to credit cards, I think it was like 50 years ago. And when it comes to specifically student loans, they are 2/3 of the debt, even though men had a long-term advantage. That alone should tell you a lot of young women are bad with money. Unless they picked a really solid degree, they are bad with money and they fucked up. Not only that, but the reason men tend to like finances more is because guess what? When you go on a first date, who's expected to pay? The man. When you get married, who's expected to pay more, either most or all of the things around the house? The man. When a millionaire, and a woman get together, who is the one that makes usually zero money at all? The woman. But when you get to this, it's expected upon men to make money, usually, which is why you will see more men in that field. And not only that, but 80% of consumers are usually women. Women like spending money on things. Men usually make the things. So what's happening is that she's mad about a statistical reality, which is men are usually better at math and usually more interested in finance, or at least interested in it, because if they aren't rich or financially stable, no woman is interested in them usually, unless there's some kind of like, gangbanger or some like dude doing a bunch of bullshit who for some reason women will find attractive. But usually men with no money, women have little to no interest in.
tech or some of these other.
That's because of... Listen, Taylor, this is nonsense. That's because of choices that women make. That's because of the number of hours that they work. That's because women take maternity leave. That's because guys work more hours and work harder. There's a whole bunch of reasons we can get into that relate to that.
We actually can adjust it for parity easily.
Can I make a comment about Scarlett, though, here for a second? Because I think what's interesting here is that, listen, she made all of her money being a sex symbol, right? She always had the boobs out.
Mhm.
That's how she made her money. She made the decision to accept roles where, yes, she was, part of the male gaze. And that's how she made her fame. I find it really interesting, honestly, that she turns 40. She's older. And now all of a sudden she decides, oh, I'm going to negate all that. Could it be that maybe she's, the male gaze isn't looking at
The
her
wall
in the
is
same way anymore.
undefeated.
She's
The
not
wall
getting
is
those roles
undefeated.
anymore. And she is now real.
Yep. Wait. Before we begin, there is one woman who did beat the wall. There is one exception to that rule. And that's because she took very fucking good care of herself. Let's see if I could get a recent picture of her. Nikki James. Even now, she still looks beautiful. Not as much as before, but like she still looks great. She still looks great. But yeah, there's a few women who can prolong it much further than it should be, but generally a lot of women once it generally. But yeah, I'll say she still looks great for her age.
Realizing there's a younger woman on the block, there's a hotter woman on the block. Okay, I'm not getting those roles, so let
And
me
is
hate
by
on
the
them
way,
now.
to complete
Now
the
that I made all my money.
to complete the conspiracy theory, is that why Charlize Theron, at the age of 50, has gone out doing podcasts talking about banging 26-year-old guys? Could that be why? Is it to make Hollywood think I'm still hot and desirable?
I've still got it. I've still got it. Yeah,
I've still got
you
the
wanna
young
cast
male
me
gaze.
Of course, because there is an insecurity,
to
and
older
women
men
don't like to
do it?
talk about this, but there is an insecurity that arises in women, particularly in a beauty-driven industry. Hollywood is all about looks. It's all about the female gaze, the
Talk
male
about it
gaze. You
because
see,
it's misogyny that puts that
It's not misogyny because if I showed Arnold Schwarzenegger at his peak in a movie shirtless, women would be like, "Ooga," and gay men would be like, "Ooga," and straight men would be like, "Wow, I wish I could look like that." And then the same thing for very beautiful women. You put a very beautiful girl in her 20s, you look at her in the movie, and same thing. Men would be "Ooga," lesbians would be like "Ooga," and then like straight women would be like, "Wow, I wish I looked like her." It's the same thing. Like this is at least my preference, which is like it's beauty. People's beauty is always going to be a main factor in a lot of movies, specifically in Hollywood. Like it's always going to be there no matter what. And I'll say the only time it sometimes won't matter is if the movie is historically accurate, because in real life people look a certain way, and if you want to make it closer to that look of the person, even if they don't look the prettiest or the nicest, there will be that. But generally outside of historically accurate, they try to make them look as beautiful as possible usually.
pressure on
that's
women
not
and
hatred of women. Taylor, do you know what misogyny means? It means hatred of women. It is not hatred of women to talk about the reality that women, I'm a woman, I'm not a misogynist. Women get more insecure as they
But you
age about
are.
their looks when they're in a beauty-driven industry. That's why
insecurities
Botox
because
exists.
of what
That's why
society
filler exists.
tells
Because
them.
Well, let me
Because
go.
of what
Let me
society
go to
tells
the
them.
let me go to the expert on the panel
Society.
when it comes to male gazes at beautiful women. Ernest, your thoughts on this?
No, I mean, to be honest, I think that two things can be true at the same time. People have the right to evolve, and also see things reflectively. What you do in your young age, I mean, heaven forbids. I mean, you all claim that you all don't support cancel culture, but a lot of you all would make the case that maybe she did at one point in time when she was younger, may have thought that's what she needed to do, and that's how she got her career. But maybe years later, she can get older and reflect and say, "Hey, some of the stuff I did back
And
then."
by the way,
looking
Ernest,
back, I
it's the
regret
same.
it.
It's
You can
the
evolve,
how
right?
it's the same
convenient.
with
How
men, right?
convenient.
I mean, it's the same with male movie stars when they cross a
Right.
point where the female
Right.
gaze moves from them to a younger, hotter model. It's exactly
That's
the
true.
same the other way around. You look at it all the time. Look at the hot movie male
Well,
stars
I
of
don't think
20
so.
years
So the
ago. They're
difference,
not there anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, there's a lot of examples of men that once they get older, they're usually like maybe the cool father or usually like the military guy. Except Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, like, Tom Cruise is another example, but like, bro hasn't aged today. He looks like a fucking vampire. But like, in a lot of his movies, like he hasn't really aged at all. But yeah, I remember there. I forgot the girl's name, but there was one of the Mission Impossible movies where they put him next to an actress, and like she was nice, but then they put him next to her. I think it was like 40 or 30 years later, and she looked like a grandma. But Tom Cruise, he looked like he hasn't aged a fucking day. He literal vampire, man.
Right, but the difference is though with those roles, that's actually not
But those two are exceptions. I'm just bringing them up because I feel like it.
true all the way. A lot of these older men do get to evolve and date younger women. What we don't see that much in
No,
Hollywood.
I mean female moviegoers going to see male movie stars. The reason they go moves from the female gaze at a hot young movie star to something different when they get older, right? So it's in other words, it works the same way.
But that's not the same though. They can get a range. What I think that happened with Scarlett Johansson, a lot of these actresses, is that what you'll see with men is that they can do both. They can do the Oscar-winning Leonardo DiCaprio films, and they can also do the sex symbol films. And they can also do it simultaneously and still get the awards. Versus what we see with women in Hollywood, it seems to be a double standard where prestige films that they can be in and star in, oftentimes they don't get the chance to be the ingenue or play into the sex role. But if they do go that way, they can't have both ways. So Denzel could be both. But Scarlett Johansson couldn't do both most of that.
Okay, yeah, but why? Okay, but why would you complain then? Why would you complain and say, "Oh, the male gaze is so terrible," and then take the role as a woman? Why would you take the role?
Exactly.
She should just own it. She should just own it.
Hang on. Let him answer the question. Why is it that if you really saw this as a problem from a feminist view, the male gaze, as a female actress who's aspiring, why would you take the role? Aren't you just selling out for money, dude?
I mean, I'm not a woman, so I'm not the one taking the role. But I'm saying something like I'm saying before.
See how they don't answer any questions? They just refuse.
No,
to.
I'm answering your question. Did you not let me finish? I'm answering your question. What I'm saying is that you, at the end of the day, it's none of these things. Like even the way that people vote for certain elected officials, it's never one size fit all. She had survival. She wanted to get her career. She wanted to do certain things. Does she have regrets? I don't know. But what I will say is
she
that
sold out?
there's a lot of factors that people do when they make their decisions, right? There are certain people where you don't agree with everything on all aspects, but you do some. And I think at a certain
It just
point,
seems, Ernest, I hear what you're saying, Ernest. It just seems a little convenient, though. It just seems a little convenient to make all of your money off of being a sex symbol and an overt sex symbol. I mean, half naked, this, that. You make all your money that way. You should own it. She should be coming out and saying,
I totally agree. I think I think that the women I admire in the entertainment world are the ones who are smart but are unafraid to say, I use my sex appeal and it makes me tons of money, as well as my smarts, as well as my talent. It's a whole package.
I agree.
Same with the guys, right? If you're a hot movie star who's got talent, you're going to make more money than an ugly one. It's as simple as that. It's not fair. Life isn't fair.
Hollywood's not fair.
I want to end. This was a bizarre moment last week in the House of Commons here in the United Kingdom. So just for background, we have a woman called Rachel Reeves, who is the first female Chancellor of the Exchequer, so the second most powerful person in the British government, the treasurer, if you like, of the United Kingdom. And she did the one thing which I guess most women who had voted for her would have wished she hadn't done, which is at the weekly Prime Minister's questions with Sir Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, she was openly crying in the background. Now, this followed a very bad week for the government, a very bad week for her. One of the signature policies that had to perform a big U-turn on. She apparently been seen having a blazing row with some colleagues and with the Speaker of the House. She then came out the next day grinning like a Cheshire cat, a little too much for my credible belief, and said that there was a personal issue going on, the details of which have not emerged, and I suspect they won't. Andrew, the problem I have with this is that I think a lot of women will have felt let down, that you finally get a female Chancellor of the Exchequer, and within a few months she's crying in the most high-profile televised moment of each week in the House of Commons, and it looks like it's just because she had a bad week.
Well, gee, who could have predicted this? Who could have predicted that?
Yeah, that's the thing. The job of a leader, it should be to stand tough and be strong. Like, a good example of this is, I give George Bush a lot of shit. but I won't give him shit on this, which is when he heard about 9/11 and he continued reading the book to the kids. I think it was like 3 to 7 minutes, roughly. I don't remember the exact amount. But like someone told him when he was reading a book to a bunch of kindergarteners, hey, 9/11 happened. So he decided to read the book, finish it, leave, and then make his announcement. Because if you had a mental breakdown in front of those kids as the president of the United States, bro, that would have been bad. So this is one of the moments where I agreed with him, and you see, he didn't look weak. He didn't like do anything that made him seem weak. And there's that. And while I give him a lot of shit for that, I won't give him shit for that because I know a lot of people would be like, "Oh, but he read a book for a few extra minutes for those kindergarteners." Yeah, well, what do you want? You want him to run around crying, bitching, and moaning? Because if you expect the leader to act like you in that situation, you're a fucking retard. As a leader, you're supposed to be strong, you're supposed to be buff, and even in tragedy, you're supposed to be like, hey, I know this is a bad situation and tough for all of us, but I will pull us through it. And that's why I'm not very into leaders crying. You don't want to look weak.
Women who are in positions of power may act overtly emotional just based on, well, even the hormones in their body. I am so stunned. I'm shocked. I can't believe that women everywhere are stunned and shocked that women, when they become very emotional, begin crying. It's no shock to me, of course. No shock to anybody else on this panel.
Let me ask
Do I think
Jedediah.
that inside of your leadership,
Jedediah, as a woman,
leadership scale, you should,
all right, Jedediah, as a woman, are you comfortable with what you're hearing from Andrew there?
I actually am comfortable with it, to be completely honest, because the truth is that men and women are different and we are emotional. And I kind of wear the fact that I have an emotional cycle that goes like this throughout the month, like we all do, like a badge of honor, because it's what makes me a woman. The thing is, you can't be in a leadership position and act like that. As an example, do y'all remember John Boehner? John Boehner was a disaster. He was always crying. So it's this.
Yeah, pussy ass bitch. Never heard of him, but he sounds like a pussy ass bitch. Never fucking cry as a leader. That's not your job. Your job is, I'm gonna get us through this. Man or woman. Your job is not crying.
This is not exclusive to women. Let's just say that this can
I
happen.
totally agree. If this had been, I think if it had been a man, a male Chancellor Exchequer crying, he'd have got whacked even more.
Well, that's the difference. Because if you remember,
Howard Dean got
Boehner
ran
did it,
out
there
for
were
a scream.
memes.
I mean, come on.
People were making fun of him all the time. He was the laughing stock. The difference is here, a lot of people jump and make excuses. Well, she had a bad day. Honestly, I don't care that you had a bad day. You're in a leadership position. I mean, the bond market had a sell-off because this woman was crying. These have real ramifications. So I think what Andrew's getting at is, listen, men and women are different. And it does beg the question, if we are naturally more emotional, and we are by nature.
Women are not.
We are.
No, they're not.
Listen.
And once again, she's denying a factual reality with no basis behind it. How many women use, oh, I'm on my period as an excuse to treat you like shit, act erratically? The answer is you at least know one woman who's done that. Whether it's at your job, whether it's your mom, whether it's your girlfriend, you at least know one woman. Guys usually aren't emotional. Usually.
They are.
Yes,
they are.
All right, Taylor, I have a question for you. Taylor, if Donald Trump's bottom lip began to tremble and he started crying on national TV, when he was addressing the Congress or something, I mean, come on, you'd absolutely murder him.
He's having tantrums every week. He's having emotional
meltdowns. He isn't crying.
Give me a break.
That's not the same thing.
Have you ever seen Donald Trump cry in public?
Okay, I'm not talking about crying. If he, listen, here's the thing. Andrew does not like women having any type of emotion outside of nodding their head.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
He didn't actually say that. He said that. He said women. Ernest, hang on. He didn't actually say. Hang on. You're missing. Hang on. Stop talking, Ernest. Ernest.
I'm acting like Andrew right now.
Ernest. Stop talking for a moment.
You're acting like
all Andrew said was women are more emotional. He wasn't surprised, right? He wasn't sort of damning women for being emotional. He just said they are more emotional. Do you dispute that?
Yeah, well, and she actually said no, they're not. How would you ever even dispute this? It's objectively true that the hormone functions that are inside of women are different than the ones that are inside of men. That
Big
is
shocker.
objectively true in general. Can you
It's
point to
fact.
some women who are more? Hang on. Can you point to an outlier of some women? Hang on. I'm almost done. I'm almost done. Calm down. Calm down. Can you point to some women? Can you point to some women and say that they're more emotionally stable? Sure, but on average, women have far more emotional regularity than men do. In fact, they have one time of the
All right,
month they're famous
Taylor,
for.
Taylor? Would you say you're more emotional than your male colleagues when you worked with men?
Oh gosh, I've worked with men that have cried in my arms. And it's so funny for Andrew to say that.
Never be weak around a woman. If you're a man and you do that, she's gonna weaponize it against you at some point, whether you like it or not. Never fucking do it. Never cry. Never. Unless you're a boy and you're crying in your mom's arms, you should never cry around a woman. Never. Never. Hell, you shouldn't even cry around men either. Get yourself a punching bag. Keep yourself together, because your job is to be a man, whether or not you like it. Just cry to yourself in your shower. Make sure you have the water on too, so nobody knows if you have to.
Yeah,
says
right.
Andrew
Those aren't men, honey.
Andrew is the one that is
See? There you go.
out.
There you
Andrew is the
go.
one that is losing his mind on this panel, screaming and shouting and making fun and
I
doing
haven't
all these
screamed and shouted at anybody. What are you talking about?
Please
Do you
roll
think
the
that,
tape
like,
back.
if you just assert lies, that people who watch this
Listen
aren't going to be
you
able to
right
see that they're
now. Listen
clearly
to you
lies?
right now, shouting over me. Listen to this. This is crazy. You have
That's
absolutely
not
no
shouting. That's not
Well, Taylor,
shouting. What are you
let me
talking?
ask you
I
this,
think those
because
hoop
woman
earrings are
to
hurting
woman,
your brain, lady.
we can do this for a
What I'm
second,
talking
woman to woman,
about right
Taylor,
now.
because I will say to you, Taylor,
Andrew speaks, therefore shouting.
there is no question
you're-
about it that when you look at Taylor, when you look at a man, his testosterone is pretty steady. His whether you like it or not, his hormones are steady. That's what comprises a man. When you look at our hormones, they do this naturally. That's why we have a cycle. That's why we have the beautiful gift of being able to make babies. That's what makes women women. So yes, there can be an outlier over here and there. John Boehner, I use the example of John Boehner, but it's very safe to say that in general, women are more emotional than men. And that does beg the question then, if women are in leadership roles where there are serious ramifications like a bond market sell-off, if that woman is seen crying, is that a good look overall for the country? The answer is no. Now, we can sit and have a debate over whether women should be in positions of power or not, but we can't have a debate over whether women are more emotional, because hormonally, that's just a fact.
Taylor?
Yep.
Not her, but her colleagues are crying in her arms, though. They're crying in her arms.
I mean, yeah, I had a colleague that cried after something horrific happened.
That's
I mean,
not
we
what
witnessed.
you said. You said that I've had men. You made it sound like men were coming to you and falling to pieces, and they were more
No, I
emotional.
said I had a male colleague cry in my arms. I've witnessed somebody die in front of my face at my job because
And
I'm
do
a
you
journalist.
think, though,
that's
that
not the
men
same
are more
thing.
emotional? Yeah, I know. It's so ridiculous, your
Absolutely,
straw
it's the
man.
same.
Is it the case that you, when you work with other men, that you're generally more emotional than them or not? That's the question.
Listen to you crash out. Talking
Well, I
about
don't know why you won't answer. Why can't you answer
But
the
is it
question,
true?
lady?
Just answer it.
shouting like a little
Yeah,
child.
just yes or no. You're crashing
I-
out. Oh my God, you're crashing out. I don't know how to answer questions. Oh my God, just answer the question, lady.
Talking about how women are more emotional as you are
Are
literally
you more emotional than your male colleagues generally or not? Can you answer yes or no?
Exactly. That's all you gotta say. The answer should be usually yes. Maybe you're a masculine woman, and maybe you could say, "Oh, usually not," but usually I see other female workers that are. Just say in general, yes, women are. Like it's not weakness admitting that a generality, whether you like it or not. Like a good example, men are the ones who make up the primary people who are in jail. I don't give a shit admitting that. So she shouldn't give a shit admitting women are emotional.
Oh, that would be great.
Personalities are we going to get on
Are
this?
you ever going to answer the question?
I answered it many times to say once
Okay,
again.
so yes or no would be great.
You cannot. You're like a little petulant child.
Yes or no?
You're
Yes or no?
screaming and making these silly
I'm not
voices.
screaming. I'm holding you to account. Me talking
like,
is not
is it yes or
screaming.
no?
You ignoramus. Yes or no?
I think
CEO knows.
look at the example right here on this panel. That Andrew is absolutely
Still not
losing
answering
his
the question, lady. Answer the question,
Women are
lady.
not
Answer the
inherently
question,
more-
lady.
See how you keep calling me lady? You won't call me by my name
Just
because
answer
you
the question. I don't remember your name. Why am I supposed to remember your name?
know
Answer
who
the
I
question.
know who I am.
Can you
Anyway,
answer the
my point,
question?
this is crazy. Women are not
Yes or
inherently
no?
women are
They're
not
not. You're
inherently
saying
they're not
so.
the
She's
You're
saying
not just
women are not
honoring biology.
inherently angry.
Oh,
That's
by
what
the
she's
way.
saying. Are you not hearing what she's saying?
It's not.
You want her to
Yeah.
speak the way you want to speak, but she
Wait a
answered your
second. I'm
question.
sorry.
All right, let me
No, she didn't
ask Taylor
answer
a
my
different question. All right,
question.
hang on.
That's what she
Taylor, let me
said.
ask Taylor.
Answer the
Let me ask
question. I
Taylor.
didn't ask her.
Taylor, in relation to Rachel Reeves crying in the House of Commons, did she let the sisterhood down? Would it have been better for
Yes.
her to hold
I
it
can answer
in?
that question. No.
Ernest, you're not.
She might have not let the sisterhood down, but she let the country down, which is more important than the sisterhood. That's the problem. When you're a leader, you're supposed to be big and strong. Yeah. If you're in a secondary position, I could give maybe an excuse for that. But if you're the president, the chancellor, the king, the monarch, whatever the fuck, no, do not cry. Even if you feel like it, cry when everybody is away. Your job is to hold everything together when bad circumstances come.
Call Taylor.
Hold
Taylor.
it. You look at that. They can answer questions. Yes.
Taylor?
Oh my God, listen to this man just screeching. Anyway, I will say
Yeah.
that I
Everyone
think
talking is screeching.
you are screeching.
You're talking. You're screeching.
Listen to this. How this guy thinks he's like
Oh my
running the panel.
God. Oh my God. Clutch your pearls harder, lady. Just answer the
Oh my
questions you're
God.
asked.
It's so funny how you continue
Would you
to
like
call
me to mail you a pearl necklace so you can tug it when we're on the panel next time?
Oh, the
Oh, I
one
never. Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, how I'm treated is so terrible. Just answer the
Listen to this
questions. And then you
meltdown
won't
that
have this
this guy.
problem.
Piers,
Oh,
can I
it's a
have the
meltdown
opportunity?
now.
Okay, Taylor, answer my question, Taylor.
Yes, absolutely. So I think that basically, generally, I take your point that any politician that shows emotion is often, or sadness rather, like crying, is often stigmatized for it. But women are
I think
stigmatized.
so to be clear, I think it depends on the circumstance, right? So if there was a
Sure.
terrible
Procedural.
event,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
and
yeah.
a prime minister or a chancellor came out and got emotional talking about a terrible national tragedy, of course, no one's going to
Yeah,
ever think anything other than that's a human emotion. I think the feeling here was that things had just got on top of her. It'd been a bad week at work. She'd had a few rows before she came out, and she just lost it in public. And it was that upset other women in particular who went, come on, you're the first female chancellor, don't do this to us.
Well, because again, women are held to this really, really intense standard. And so, yes, any sort of display.
That was the standard intense. Men are held to it too if they're a world leader. Don't cry. Don't be a fucking bitch on TV. It should not be, oh, but shut up, you're a world leader. You signed up for this shit.
Of emotion like that is going to be weaponized against them by people like this man or whatever who's on the panel who can't stop shouting. But I will say that, you know, this idea that male leaders are not emotional. Here he is talking over me right now.
Well, I mean, you can't help but talk about me every
oh my
5 seconds,
gosh,
lady. Like, what do you want me to
listen
say?
to this. I
You
want
can't
to
reference me and then say I'm not allowed to
Taylor,
respond. You can't
Taylor,
be
to
like
reference
this,
something
man.
that you said. Taylor, to reference something that you said.
Hang on, I want to hear Taylor answer the question. Taylor.
Thank you, Piers. To finish my point, I will say that this idea that male leaders aren't emotional, I think is just completely wrong because I think they're emotional in different ways. Society stigmatizes different forms of emotion in men. The way that a lot of men express their emotion as political leaders is anger. And what Ernest was talking about earlier of Donald Trump being erratic, irrational,
I mean, realistically, I would rather have a female leader be like, oh, how dare he set a bomb here? We're gonna bomb the shit out of his country for that. We're gonna make sure him and all his men get destroyed in battle because of what they did. I would rather have that over, I would literally have that over someone crying. I would literally have anger. Because at least anger is a form of like direction and, order.
emotional. He is extremely emotional. We have plenty of male leaders that are highly emotional, and they might not be crying, but I would say that their very intense emotions do have significant political and economic consequences. So I think it's good to destigmatize emotion, but let's not act like there's not sexism here.
And let's also give you credit, Taylor. You probably had a harder time from Andrew Wilson in the last hour than Rachel Reeves got from her colleagues, and you haven't cried. So I think that should be acknowledged.
I'm here.
Well,
I've
I
been here
mean,
for 3 years and
give
have
me
not
another
cried.
hour.
Please, you just whine and whine and whine.
You know what? I think
Well, I
you
don't
two.
know. So the whole thing is like, you can see even on this panel, holding women accountable is basically impossible. They don't even answer questions. Like, we asked this lady, I don't know how many questions, and she answers every question except the one we asked her. Just reframes the entire debate every time.
want to hear the
You would have
answer.
had a way less hard. It would have been way less hard for you if you would have just actually answered anything
where
we
they
asked you.
literally simply
But it's not
cannot
your
let a
show.
woman speak. You'll note, by the way, you'll note how he speaks to me. He doesn't give me the courtesy of speaking with my
No.
name. He's been mocking.
You called me
Been-
this man. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
called you
finally,
that
after
in
you have
reference-
been a
Yeah, what do you
jerk.
mean? Am I
Exactly,
am I
Ernest,
going, oh my
exactly.
God, she called me this man. Oh,
Here
she's
he
so
goes once
disrespectful.
again doing
Oh.
this disrespectful voice. It's really something to watch. And I think when we're talking about emotion, and we have a man on this very panel who can't help but do these strange little voices and interrupt every 2 seconds and get mad that he's
What I
not the
find
mom.
interesting, can I just say,
Very
Taylor,
mocking
what I
voice.
find
Yeah, just
interesting?
answer.
Hold
Next
on a
time, just
second.
answer the
1 second.
questions, lady.
What I
Wild.
find interesting about this panel is that, Taylor, you chose, to be honest, you chose to talk about sexism and to say, well, women have, an unfair advantage in this and they're stigmatized in that, and to go after Andrew, when in fact I've been saying a lot of the same things that he's
I'm
been
not
saying,
going
but you
after
chose
him.
to make it about
You're
sexism.
respectful.
You chose to, because it's an
Respect is
easy
different.
target.
No,
Hold on a
this is
second.
about approach.
Because
you're
it's an
making it
easy
really
target.
disrespecting her.
Ma'am,
It's all
ma'am,
about
you are
approach.
you
You're
are
not
not
But it's
getting
an
off
easy
of the
target. It's
No,
an
because
easy
not an easy
target to say
target.
the
He's a
man on
jerk.
the panel. The
No,
bottom
because
line
I'm
is
the man on the
that
panel.
women,
No,
Here's the man on the
No.
panel.
Taylor,
and here's
here's
why
the
this
bottom
why don't
line.
you listen to
that
Ernest?
way.
Hey, ma'am, why
Do
don't you
you
listen
want
to
to be
Ernest?
treated as an equal to a man? If you want to be treated as an equal to a man, then it can't always be sexism this or misogyny this.
Nobody's
If you
saying
want
that
to be
all
Exactly. It's a deflection to stop any sort of actual good faith debate. Because these people, like, what they want is for you to stop talking and for them to pretend like they got a victory over you. Like, oh, I like GTA 5. Oh, that game's violent. You shouldn't play it. And you're like, I'm sorry. And that's what it's supposed to do. It's not supposed to be like, well, it says 18 plus on the cover. Well, kids play it. Well, it's the responsibility of the adults in their lives to stop them from playing it. It's basically like that. A deflection that's meant to stop debate, a good faith debate happening that I frankly hate.
on this panel are sexist. They're saying that this guy, Andrew,
Yeah,
will not
it's the approach. It's the approach.
Stroke.
Hold on, let me. So I want to say this. It's not about
Destigmatize emotion, except
No,
Andrews.
But
you know what's crazy?
instead of
It's
crying
not about- it's
sexism,
not
just
about-
answer the questions, right? We can
Yeah,
do
just
it
answer
as
the question.
women.
The way that he
As
hold on,
women,
respectfully, if you listen,
Here comes the
it's
tone
not
policing.
About, it's not
Tone
about.
policing.
It's about gender because there's 3 men on this panel. It's about approach. None of us.
Wait.
It's about gender because
Wait. I gotta put subtitles just in case I heard that correct.
there's 3 men on this panel.
Three? Okay, I did hear that correctly. Okay, where's the third man? Is it you? Is it her? Because obviously she's not gonna say she's a man. So where is it? Is it you? Because I thought you were a woman. What? That's where you met. I'm just gonna ignore that. Okay, but I did hear it. I did hear it correctly though. I heard that 100% correct.
It's about approach. None of us have called
3 men
Taylor
on
out
this
of her.
panel.
None of us are berating her. You see how he's disrespecting me, and I have even went
but
there.
what
with
what
him.
I'm saying to you, Ernest,
You don't want
listen,
that.
as a
You don't want
woman,
that.
I'm saying to you, as a woman, instead of crying
that.
sexism, I'm not going to sit here and cry sexism or cry misogyny when somebody comes at me. I'm going to answer the
you're
question and I'm
aligning-
going to come back
because
with
the men,
facts.
most of the men on this
Okay.
panel.
So that's all
here's
I'm
the thing,
saying.
I
You've
ain't-
aligned
hold on, let me
yourself
say what I'm saying.
with
I
Andrew.
am
Yeah.
respecting. Hold on. So let me say
Okay.
this.
I'm not
My
aligning
ears are
myself with
beginning to
anyone.
hurt.
I gave you my
respecting
opinion.
and that's why you will never say sexism because the other men on this panel agree with you.
So he was a girl? So he's actually a dude? I thought he was just like a really, really, really masculine woman. So he is. What the fuck? I thought that was a really, really masculine woman. Holy shit!
I
Okay.
don't agree with you on a lot of points, but I'm respecting you. That's why you can't say sexism. The other two men, Pierce disagrees with Taylor, but Pierce is not disrespecting Taylor, and she's not calling him sexist because the
Listen,
difference
Andrew
is
can
the
defend
view is about
himself.
It's
I don't need to defend
disrespectful.
Andrew.
It's disrespectful to purposely obfuscate and avoid the questions you're being asked. That is not respect. That is a form of the greatest form of disrespect.
Bro, I'm so confused. I literally thought it was just a woman with a lesbian haircut that was extremely masculine looking. Oh well. Oh, I'm just gonna skip over that.
Respect, not tone, dude.
Disrespectful is
Refusing
you-
to answer the
if
questions
you
you're
have
asked, that's what's disrespectful.
meltdown and doing all of these silly little voices and refusing to call me by my name and just by basically throwing a little temper tantrum
Well,
and
why don't we,
refusing to
why don't
call
we
you by
try
your
and
name? I
end?
can't
Why
remember
don't we
your
try
name.
and end on a
I'm
happy
old.
note?
It's not
I
my
want
fault.
Andrew and Taylor to end by saying something nice about each other to each other. Andrew, you go first. Something nice.
I'll go first. He has a cool beard and haircut, and her earrings look nice. Also, her little chain. There we go. Done.
About
He's
Taylor.
alive. That's something nice. He's alive. He's alive.
Andrew, something nice about Taylor.
Well, I mean, it doesn't look like she's going bald. I think that's
Oh, bro, went straight to insult. Oh,
Taylor, something
a
nice
lot of
about
women in that
Andrew.
age bracket. A lot of women in that age bracket go bald. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe it's
Yeah,
all
I
the
guess
plastic. I don't know.
I can't say the same thing for Andrew's hairline, but I guess he has a nice.
It's nicer than your hairline.
Come on, Taylor, one compliment.
Nicer than your hairline.
Well, now here he is, negating what he just said about my hair. Piers, I don't think Andrew is capable of saying
No, I didn't
something
negate
kind.
So
it.
you can
I
rise
just
to a
said that
higher
my
place,
hairline's
Taylor.
better
Say
than
something
yours.
nice about him.
I said I liked his shirt. I think he's got a nice shirt on, and that is really something.
Yeah, we like flannel.
On that happy note, we will leave it. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Pierce.
yeah, but that was overall good. But as I said, like there should be a lot taken into that debate because I hate the idea of you can't talk about this because you're a man. Because guess what? Women have the overwhelming ability to vote for someone who wants a war to happen, and if everyone in the military dies, they're gonna put men into the war to die for it, just like they did in other wars. Like I know everyone likes to say that, oh, well, this doesn't count anymore. It doesn't count anymore because not enough people are dying in war for that to happen yet. But if it ever did happen, there's a chance. There's also that argument for abortion, but the whole thing is basically, I just don't like it that some people don't take it as seriously as it should be. It's not essential healthcare, and it's not like just a clump of cells or a being that doesn't exist. It's a serious situation which should be looked at in a serious lens. If it's if it's threatening the mother's life, or if it was forced upon her, then I'm fine with it. But if it's just because she was a retard who didn't get a condom for her boyfriend, or didn't get plan B, well then fuck her. I don't give a shit. But yeah, that's it.